of his outstanding contribution to economic welfare and sustainable growth, Priyadarshini Academy is honored to present the Harish Mahindra Memorial Global Award to Mr. Børge Brende.
It's always good to also be possible to hear what you're saying. Thank you so much for this great honor. I would have loved to be in Mumbai and will use the first possible opportunity to join you there. Excellencies, also special thanks to Mr. And Dr. Hirandani, Mr. Rupani, and the great team at the Academy. And also, of course, to my fellow awardees. It is a great honor. I hope you're all safe, and of course, we will overcome this as a global community. It is, of course, my distinct honor and privilege to receive the Harish Mahindra Memorial Global Award for outstanding contributions to economic welfare and sustainable growth. This team, as you mentioned, is so close to my heart, and I have used all my life to work on more inclusive, sustainable, job creating and equitable growth. That these awards are taking place virtually, as today, for the first time since their inception, also in many ways sums up the very, very challenging times we are all living in. And my thoughts also go to all my friends in India. And we know that the world is grappling really with once in a generation public health, social and economic crisis. That these challenges have hit one after the other should be cause, of course, for great concern, but should not be a great surprise. After all, the health of our communities and of stakeholders within our societies are deeply interwoven. But for too long, we have forgotten that growth also needs to be, as I mentioned, inclusive and sustainable, and has to create the jobs that are needed for the young generation. We cannot recover from the current crisis unless we renew cooperation and address the challenges across our societies. Some of these includes half of our students currently out of classroom do not have access to a computer. Half. 265 million people could face starvation by the end of the year. 40% of emerging and frontier markets face sovereign external debt that could be at risk of default in the next year. Pandemics are only one of the several threats to our global commons. Climate change and biodiversity loss, among others, require collective action and problem solving with ever-increasing urgency. This crisis is also an opportunity to tackle deep systemic failures and historic injustices and inequalities and put the world on a track for an inclusive and sustainable, prosperous future. That's our duty. This is also why the World Economic Forum launched a Great Reset initiative this year. Professor Klaus Schwab, that you know, even wrote a book about this, and we have our plan to convene leaders from business, government, and civil society for purpose-driven, action-oriented collaboration. Public-private cooperation is crucial in addressing the urgent challenges we face in a way that delivers a more inclusive, sustainable, and resilient future. Decades of growth has lifted hundreds of millions of people out of extreme poverty, also in India, many of whom are now at risk in more ways than one due to the pandemic. That shows really how sincere and serious it is. This pandemic has put millions of informal workers, low-income migrant workers, and daily wage earners in a state of extreme insecurity. But the policy response in India to mitigate the impact of the pandemic has been strong, from an early lockdown to large-scale food rations to over 800 million people risking starvation to collateral-free credit for small businesses. While this historic crisis comes with a dire economic and social outlook, there are also lessons and opportunities. In the longer term, while India must continue investments in health infrastructure and ensure the continuity of regular health services, it will also have to cautiously adjust spending, attract industrial investments to spur growth, and address rising unemployment. As India focuses on building forward better after the pandemic, it has a crucial opportunity to leapfrog to a more digital economy and to do so responsibly and inclusively. It is also heartening to see that the private sector is playing key roles and acting as a partner to the government in providing supplies, logistics, and backup shelters in economic recovery, and in adapting industry practices so that the people can get back to work safely. While history and recent experience have shown us that there can't be many certainties, we can be sure that the world is not going to be the same as it was pre-COVID-19. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for us to design economic recovery packages that build forward better. It is up to us to chart a way forward where there is no trade-off between growth and planetary health. Thank you so much for this award, and thank you so much for inviting us here today. Thank you.